I've often thought that maybe there's something to it being hard to survive in an area that helps them technologically advance. Like you can't survive a whatever Finland winter unless you've got your heating figured out, your housing figured out.
Makes
Like
sense.
you've got to have a bit of a civilization. You need to store food.
Mhm.
If you can hang a hammock and fucking coconuts falling next to you all day long, then maybe you're not incentivized to advance your society in the same way.
That's true. Like it seems like about winter. Like if you have to plan for winter, it'd be like you have to like save up food and resources and stuff. So
No,
it
I
seems
think
like
it's-
about winter does that.
Meanwhile, you've got in South America where it's nice and cool, like temperate climate where you just grab stuff out of the rainforest and eat it as long as you control the panthers that are trying to eat you, I guess.
That's
They're inventing astronomy and calendars and predicting.
South America did that?
Of course, yeah.
They invented astronomy.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't invent astronomy.
Did they invent this?
How do you know?
Maybe
know
they arrived at it on their own. You mean like they were not the first people to, discover like astronomy and all that? Wasn't that like the Middle East?
I don't think we know who
someone
the
in
first
Europe
people were.
navigated by the stars.
Yeah, like every culture used the stars to navigate. But I mean, like I'm sure they figured it out at different times.
Well, I was just talking about like the Mayan calendar and how far back that went, and that's
okay.
They're utilizing the stars and stuff to do that.
Yeah.
And the sun at its like zenith or whatever from either side, right? They built those pyramids to like show things at certain days of the year with the shadows.
Those pyramids are pretty new. I was just watching Ed March, C90 Adventures. He rides a tiny motorcycle. He went from like Alaska, across Canada, across America, then to Argentina. Right? Can you picture how long? Oh my
God! Yeah.
Right.
That sucks.
Along the way, he visits like this Aztec or Mayan temple. It's like a pyramid. And then he finds out the thing is like 150 years old and he's British. So he's like, oh, yeah, actually, my bedroom is older than this pyramid.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
it's like really because Oxford's been a university since the year 900. Like
he may have found some pyramid they made for fucking tourists 150 years ago, but those pyramids go back thousands of years.
Which one?
Not according to a YouTuber I saw.
Yeah,
maybe not the one
YouTuber.
Yeah, Colin's doubting my historians.
I mean, you watched the Mel Gibson movie.
Oh yeah, Apocalypto. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, Braveheart. How does this make sense? That's Scottish.
Mad Max.
That classic film.
No.
Yeah, like the Japanese. Isn't it like Japan's full of mountains and difficult weather and difficult terrain? Weren't they? They've been fucking with China for a very long time. Always trying to invade China. Always invented them.
The Chinese invented paper, gunpowder, and maybe
the game
writing.
You start with sailing, I think.
Maybe writing. We probably don't know who invented writing. Like I feel like all the time they find some older thing.
Here's the thing, though. If they invented paper, were they wiping their ass with it? Probably not first. They're probably writing on it. So I think the Chinese did all those things, and then,
they did.
Our poor ignorant ancestors were over there being pale
and cold,
very cold,
very chilly.
Cold. Yeah,
that would suck. Just having months out of the year where it's like there's still nothing to do, but now it's cold.
I've completely disregarded all your contrary evidence, and I'm sticking with my view anyway. That harsh environments make for advanced civilizations.
I think that's for hard people. I think that what's that whole thing where like the necessity is the mother of invention. I think that if someone has a cold climate, that they will come up with a good way to deal with cold climates. I think if someone has a megafauna in their area, like big giant animals that are hard to deal with, they'll learn hunting tactics to like deal with that. But I don't think it necessarily makes them the best and brightest at all things. I don't think that the people who live in the cold, hard to live in place are going to be the best scientists because it's hard there. I think that
there's more difficult places to live than just cold places.
I think a moderate place where not only can we are we challenged, so we have to get out of our hammocks and stop eating the coconuts, but we can also relax once we figure this shit out a little bit and start calculating and looking at the stars and making lenses and figuring out
you do have to be able to get on top of it. It can't be straight up desert or Arctic.
Yeah.
The Mayans that you brought up as your example of an advanced technological civilization, didn't they get shot by the Spaniards and just beaten?
Smallpox.
They did get beaten pretty badly.
Smallpox. Come on. You know what?
You always go to the smallpox. I think muskets were part of it.
Guns and horses were a big part of it.
And smallpox. It decimated them.
They didn't have vaccines.
They didn't. You know what? Here's what I always wondered though. So we always talk about like how the white people brought the smallpox over to the West and would wipe out these indigenous peoples. Why didn't they have any diseases to like fuck up the white people?
They probably did. I bet because there's going to be diseases everywhere, right? Like there must have been shit that like all the Europeans started getting.
If they did,
I guess not as intense. Maybe it was like a milder shit, but like.
No, it would have happened if they did, right? We would have gotten, we got the,
right. Don't go to Mexico. Montezuma's revenge.
We'd go somewhere and they'd be like, oh yeah, there's yellow fever down there. But it's not like the Brits went back home with yellow fever and wiped out London. Like, I'm just curious why.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
No clue. Maybe the pathogen died on the boat.
Well, Taylor solved it here.
They're very seasick pathogens.
They got, but no Dramamine in that time for the pathogens.
I don't care for it. Yeah, they don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know. What is? It would be so tight if they found one of those like super ancient civilizations, way older than like Egypt or ancient China, because
they don't know how old Egypt is.
Like, what is it called? You've brought it up. Gekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe, that place in Turkey, that site they discovered that's well over 12,500 years old.
That's really cool. Stuff like that's fascinating.
That has those carvings and those enormous monolithic blocks that would have required not only someone who knew how to make monolithic blocks, but you have to keep in mind there has to be a system around the kind of person who is a craftsman and makes blocks like that. Uglug doesn't go out there, beat something with his club and eat it, and then go back to the mine that day. Uglug is this requires a miner who mines all day as a profession, and a craftsman who crafts all day as a profession, and like a religious society who's like, yes, we must have these things to please the gods, and little peons who are like, certainly do, right? All those things required a civilization of some like level is required to make those things happen, and we don't know anything about those people. And Egypt too, like the word that Egyptians use for the pyramid builders is not Egyptian. They call them by a different name as a different people.
Interesting. So
they don't know how old that
some
stuff
people
is.
think that like pyramid predates the Egyptians, like
yeah,
the really old
by
one?
many thousands of years. And then like the Sphinx, like they don't know how old that stuff is.
Yeah, you talked about the Sphinx recently, which I didn't know the Sphinx was older than some of the pyramids.
They don't know, nobody knows how old it is.
If you took someone from one of those ancient civilizations, right, and granted them immortality, right? So now this guy's 12,000 years old. I wonder what he'd be like, right? So biologically, let's assume he's the same, that humans haven't evolved in 12,000 years. He's working with basically the same, wetware that we are. Cool. Would he be a genius, having learned things for the last 12,000 years? Would he be a dumbass like me, still stuck on some outdated food pyramid that he learned in fourth grade?
He's still eating his 12 servings of grain a day.
Bread is part of the foundation of this whole fucking thing. like, would he be stuck on these old belief systems? Would he be a genius? Like, I wonder what this guy would be like if he lived 12. I bet he'd be rich. Please tell me you figured out you can just dollar cost average into the S&P. It's easy to get rich. It's hard to get rich while you still have enough life left. But if you're going to live 12,000 years, God, you can spend 100 years getting rich. It's no big deal.
He could have been the first guy in the stock market.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Like the first, that's like, all right, market's open. We're trying this new thing. And he's like first guy in line. But I imagine someone like that would be unbelievably depressed. Like 12,000 years of meeting people and everyone dying. Like that'd be horrible.
Yeah. Is there a person disorder that can help you with that? Like, would the right narcissist just not care about anyone but themselves and have a dandy of a time for 12,000 years?
All right. So he's a 12,000-year-old psychopath. It's nothing but resentment for the rest of humanity. He's just looking forward to the day that we implode.
So that movie I just linked is kind of the exact thing you're describing. And then these guys are sitting around discussing it. With some really good actors that I like all those
The
actors.
Man from Earth.
Yeah, it's that one of them is claiming to be many thousands of years old, and they're having a discussion about it.
Really? Is the whole movie the discussion?
I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen that preview. Then it intrigued me. I added it to a watch list, and then when you
Can you
started
show it,
describing
Zach? Because I think people are going to be curious about what we're talking about. But it's from 2007, which I like. I'm glad it's not from like 1992.
This looks
Huh.
cool.
I'm
feel-
kinda
this looks
curious about
familiar,
it.
I saw a little bit of the dialogue the other day somewhere, and it was really intriguing, well written stuff. Because they were talking. One of them was like, our brains had essentially been the same as they were for over 500,000 years, and that sort of man, he would learn as he went, he would grow as he went, but he would also be damaged, would he not? And they're like having this really interesting discussion. It's the doctor from Star Trek Enterprise. They had him a bunch of shit on his face, but he's a good actor.
Oh, this is they're all
the
they're just
doctor
in
from
a-
Star Trek Enterprise, Beverly Crusher.
That's Star Trek: The Next Generation.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Scott Bakula Star Trek.
Oh, I don't. Is the doctor a
You want me to sing the intro music? It's been a
Yes.
long way getting from there to here, and I'm not gonna let them hold me back. No, I'm not gonna. That one. 'Cause I gone straight.
Oh,
to the
this
heart.
doctor. Flock?
That
Yes.
Enterprise.